On June the 23rd, millions of us will vote on whether to remain part of the EU or leave. But is the UK safer in or out? How people move around, how we share intelligence, and how we defend ourselves are all up for discussion. Take the recent terror attacks in Paris and Brussels. The majority of people behind the attacks in France were EU citizens. Now, under European rules, almost anyone who lives in an EU country is allowed into the UK. The Leave campaign say that makes it easier for terrorists to come here, and the UK needs stricter entry checks. The Remain camp, though, argue that the UK has more security checks than most. Those in favour of the EU say it's important that Britain stays in so it can share intelligence with other countries. For example, there's Europol, an EU agency set up to fight crime and terrorism, or an agreement that allows EU countries to share DNA samples, fingerprints and mobile phone call data. But the UK's biggest intelligence sharing alliance is with the so-called Five Eyes. That's us, the US, Australia, New Zealand and Canada, and leaving the EU is unlikely to change that. EU countries can and do work together on defence. For example, the British military often train with their French counterparts. But recently there's been talk of an EU army. Neither the In nor the Out campaign are particularly keen on the idea, but the Leave camp are worried that it's the way things are heading. Although the EU has denied that, last year a top official, Jean-Claude Juncker, said a European army was needed to stand up to Russia. But it's unlikely, as the UK or any other EU country could block it. So the argument comes down to whether the UK needs to take more ownership of its borders and security, or whether it's better to stay in the EU and have more influence when working with other countries to keep the UK safe.